Also, we crossed out the movement ideas thing. Sounds like we don't, or not movement ideas. Sorry, marketing guild change. Sounds like we don't need anything there.
Yeah.
Need any changes there? Um, the movement ideas thing. It sounds like that'll be part of whatever we do with the website, which I guess we're kind of working towards it. Any, I know we were talking a little bit maybe in the mod chat there, but any updates on that whole website? Oh, that's the whole Docusaurus thing, right?
Yeah, the Docusaurus thing I didn't check out, but I have outlined some basically the process for how we want to set up the Discord server, and I made some changes to the intake form, um, kind of in a way to reflect like the perspective of where they're coming from, but also to try to simplify it as much as possible, especially for somebody who doesn't really want to get that involved, but kind of wants to join the server and just be an onlooker. Um, I,
Yep.
I sketched out a little process tree. Let me just send it over real quick. Um, but basically, you saw the content for the Start Here channel, um, and then they'll head over to the form. And sorry, I'm just reading through some notes and trying to send this at the same time. So basically, all that somebody sees when they first get to the form is going to be this question: what moves you? We'd like to know what inspires you to join the movement community. That one's like not a required box. And then we have want to get involved. And this one you select, I want to join Movement DAO, I want to start a movement, I want to join a movement, or I'm a humble onlooker. And I had put in here Peace DAO as an option just because I know that people are going to be being directed towards this form coming from Peace DAO. But from a sort of long-term perspective where there's going to be multiple movements, this seems like the best way to arrange it is you're either here because you want to join Movement DAO itself and contribute to movement, or because you want to start a movement, or because there's a movement that you know about that you want to join. Um, so to avoid any confusion, I just wrote in the I want to join a movement option in parentheses, like such as Peace DAO. So if they're looking for Peace DAO, the choice is obvious. Um, and here, let me drop a link so you can actually see this, or I'll share
Yeah.
my
Is
screen.
is that multi-select, by the way?
What's that?
Is that multi-select?
Yeah, it's multi-select.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there might
Um,
even be an option there. I don't want to make too many options, but there might be like I don't know options or not sure.
yeah, you don't. Well, I guess you do. I mean, I did. I'm a humble onlooker, and that one, if you select that
Yeah, I
one,
could see that being,
yeah. So if you select
yeah.
that one, it doesn't ask you any crazy questions. It just asks you for your email address, and then it asks you if you would like to receive the Movement Down newsletter. That's it. And then it gives you that tag in Discord um, as a humble onlooker. And then
Yeah.
so we can use that to sort of, I don't know if we want humble onlookers to be able to read and write in the general chat or only read like announcements and newsletter, like you were saying. Um, but we can figure that out. So this is nice. I like how it looks because it's super simple. Let me just share my screen.
Yeah, I like it too. I might
Oh, you're
change
looking at okay.
um LFG just submit just because I think
Okay.
and maybe even like the let's build
Biddle,
or how you
biddle.
like you said.
Yeah,
Well, I know it's build or whatever the regenerative renaissance just because I think we should make this as like
yeah.
Web 2 friendly as possible and
Cool.
not like kind of make it feel like either people don't understand it or just like that it seems a little, like we're not including certain people.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted some feedback on that one, so I'll make those changes. So I'll just what if I put let's go for the submit button?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. And let's build the regenerative renaissance, just regular build, or get rid of that whole thing.
Um, so let me ask you, like, do you think that we fit in the regen? Like, I know that we've gotten some press there, and I could see it, but do you think we fit in the whole regen economy kind of like? Do you think we A we fit there, and B we should fit like we should play on that?
Mm. Um, well, for me personally, I do. Like I identify with that movement, and I don't know if there's parts of the movement that I don't know about that I wouldn't identify with if I did. But from my perspective, we are exactly what that kind of describes is, trying to bring benefit to the world in any way, any shape or form that that takes, and using Web3 to do it.
Is that what that means? I thought regen was more like for example, where you are like doing things that sort of more like Olympus type things, like where you're or like what's the one that's like Olympus?
Like specifically environmental focused.
Uh, no, like I thought it meant more. I thought it was more of an economic term.
Oh, okay. Right, because it plays on degen. Um, I don't
Like
know.
I thought it was more like hold on, I'm just trying to figure out what the thing is called. Like have you heard of Klima?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I looked into that pretty heavy.
Have you heard of like the one that's like doing uh self-repaying mortgages?
Oh, that sounds
Forget what that
cool.
one's called.
No, I haven't seen
But
that.
basically like the idea is that like they're able to create regenerative value by like taking out loans in the Web 2 world and putting them beyond chain and that trade, which makes a circular thing. I thought that that's the regenerative part of that,
Right.
regenerative economics, but I'm not totally sure. So I just didn't know if like A, what people kind of think when they hear that, and then B, like, does that put us in a bucket that maybe we're either not in or we shouldn't try to be in?
Right.
I'm not saying I have the
Um,
answer. I just want to make sure
yeah.
that we're yeah.
I would say just like for me personally, I would definitely go with the regenerative Renaissance aesthetic. Like I think it fits us well. I'm open to like that not being the case, but like my awareness of the word regenerative actually came from like maybe starting like 10 years ago or something. People started talking about regenerative agriculture. It was kind of like the next phase after the organic movement, and kind of like the permacultural movement into the regenerative movement. And like the basis of it was that you need to practice an agriculture which regenerates soil because like we've depleted soil so much that it's not enough to just have good soil practices. You have to have like regenerative soil practices, um, and then I think that that meme sort of just captured like some marketing, exploitation as well as just general excitement. And people started applying like regenerative to lots of different ideas like carbon sequestration and like native ecosystem restoration. And then like the whole green pill sort of public goods movement, Kevin Owocki and like Gitcoin really took the regenerative thing and branded like regens, like in the same way that they branded Biddle as HODL, they branded regen as degen. And then, actually a big part of my reason for going to ETH Denver was to plug in with that community and like catch on some of that vibe. And so that was a lot of fun. And yeah, anyway, like getting to know a lot of the
Interesting. Okay.
projects that people refer to as regen projects, like this would be one of those.
Yeah, no, let's keep it. I just had no idea. I thought it was more of I thought it had to do more with economics than it did like
Sure.
sustainability.
I mean, I think that's when you combine regenerative um, practices with blockchain, right? Is it you use economics to create and incentivize regenerative action?
Yeah. Yeah, that's more of how I understood it.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, it's
mm-hmm.
cool. All right, yeah, let's leave it. I just was more curious. Um, yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
And
cool.
maybe just change the build so that for people who might not understand what that means.
Okay, yeah, I'll just do regular build, and and then I'll change the button at the bottom to let's go. And I'm sharing my screen of this little sketch that I made this morning, just to lay out, because when you look at the Airtable, it's kind of confusing, like what the conditional visibilities like actually lead to. So yeah, you start with the intake form. There's the top question that's it was what inspires you, but I changed it to what moves you because I thought that was kind of cool and on brand. Um, and then there's a question, want to get involved. There's these four options. So if you select Movement DAO, it brings you down to select if you want to join a contributor guild. And this was something I wanted
And
to ask you about. So we have in the
so
Discord server the dev guild, the artist guild, and the marketing guild. But we also have a governance channel or a governance category. And you had put in the circle interest form a selection for community, um, what was it? Community engagement,
support.
community building, community support. Yeah, yeah. Um, and that's what I was mimicking was like one of those selections. So we don't have a guild for that, or the marketing guild includes that. Um,
Yeah, that's more of I guess we could put that in marketing. That it's a little bit yeah, it's a little bit different than I guess the guilds we have right now.
yeah, because it's like
Um,
you could put it in marketing, but from the perspective of somebody answering this question, if they are interested in community support, they might not select marketing because that doesn't necessarily they might not necessarily like connect the dots on that. Um, but we could have like a community selection and then put them in the marketing guild. Um, but I wasn't sure exactly what we should put
yeah,
there. I just put vibe, but I don't know if that's the right.
yeah, maybe we could. Yeah, I mean, I think we could have like community or community building as one of those things, and maybe just add that as a role. Not maybe not every role for right now needs to link back to a channel,
Yeah,
but it could just designate what that person is does or interested in.
yeah, that's a good point.
Um,
We can, yeah,
and then I think we'd want to have a little description around each of these things too,
okay,
maybe.
right, all right, I'll think about that.
Like, or at least just say like, like if I'm first time into this, like what is like a contributor guild? Like I don't even know what that means if I'm not in the space, right? Like
Yeah,
a little maybe a little side description that just says what types of things are you interested in or have experience in or something like that.
Right.
and then you could see that some your answers will help unlock certain experiences within Discord or something like that.
Okay.
You could mention just so people like know that like the answers that they choose are going to affect what channels that they can see.
Okay, sure. So, yeah, that brings me to another question I had, which I had a description under would you like to join any of Movement DAO's contributor guilds? And as I was trying to like simplify the form as much as possible, I removed this portion that I had included, which said joining a guild gives one the opportunity to collect bounties and participate in coordinate circles, which are some of the ways we reciprocate the energy that community members give to the DAO. Um, like I wanted to include that because I want to give this sort of um, like this reciprocation of value in real time as people are giving their attention to this form. We're sort of telling them, hey, there's also we want to give you energy as well. Um, they don't necessarily know that until we tell them, or until it becomes clear. But I wasn't sure if we should, if it's the right place to put that, or if it's just too wordy, or if that fulfills what you had in mind as a description there.
I think it's probably worth mentioning because I mean, ultimately, like the people should understand that what they put in the form is ultimately going to like impact their experience
Right.
in the Discord, I think, because
Okay.
that might change how they answer things too.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
and then I think and then I think before you go into like availability, etc., like there should be like a question around like I mean like I guess just because someone's maybe interested in joining a like having a role in Discord and joining something doesn't necessarily mean that they want to actually contribute. And I think we should like separate that as like whether it's a yes or no to say like, do you would you actually consider contributing in the DAO or something like that or in a movement and then maybe you could have that other thing come up just so that it doesn't
Okay.
like waste people's time if they aren't.
Yeah. Um, so do you want people to be able to join a guild if they aren't necessarily interested in contributing?
Oh yeah, good point. So maybe then yeah, so I guess before that so yeah, I guess we just have to like put somewhere before it goes into that anyway, just say like um just to let people know like we have these contributor guilds and they're meant for people who are actually wanting to like contribute in a particular area. However we want to word that, right? Just like letting them know
Yeah. So I
that they
had
should only choose that if they are
okay.
wanting to get seriously involved there.
Right.
Morning, guys.
Oh,
Hey,
hey,
good morning.
Alexander.
Hey, sorry, I was 10 or 15 minutes late. This I just want to hop in and say this looks awesome, like really terrific. Like I'm stoked. Um, so I just for this question, I guess would you have like like a I'm just looking around selection, right? For people who just want to kind of I guess lurk.
Yeah.
Uh, and I
There's
guess
a
we
there's a
we
humble
could do that, right?
onlooker. There's a humble onlooker
Okay,
option that if
excellent.
selected, they're not really prompted for any questions. So we want to encourage people to be an onlooker, and we don't want to demand
Right.
too much of their attention, answering unnecessary questions. So
If they
uh,
hit humble onlooker, they will not see any of the specificity in terms of the guilds.
yeah,
Like what would that person? Okay, got it. Perfect. Okay.
here let me drop the current form in the in the marketing chat channel, and then you can look at that
Awesome.
as well because it has all these conditional visibility things. that I'm showing in this screen share of this rough sketch is basically each box represents conditional visibility that only shows up if you select that option. And these are multi-select. So if you select movement DAO and join a movement, then you'll see both of these selections. So if you select movement DAO, let's go back to where Stacker was talking about. You select movement DAO, and what you see is, would you like to join any of movement DAO's contributor guilds? If you don't select any of these, then it doesn't ask you. It doesn't ask you about your availability. It doesn't ask you about your skills or your experience. It doesn't ask you to share your work or your LinkedIn profile. If you don't select any contributor guilds, then it just asks you, are you already involved in any impact movements, community projects, art collectives, DAOs, public goods initiatives, or other interesting projects you'd like to share about? And I figured it'd be pretty interesting to see like what other DAOs people are connected through, and would be pretty valuable information if there's people who are like highly involved in some current, social movements and stuff. And we have what is you're familiar with Web3 and DAOs? This is the one where we want to provide some introductory content in like the respondent email if they select some of the beginner stuff. And I have like a conditional visibility if they select, like, I know nothing about Web3, DAOs, or Ethereum. I've never used a crypto wallet, or I'm not familiar with Discord. Then a little prompt comes up, says, feeling lost, reach out for help at info@move.xyz, or open a support ticket in our Discord server. And then email address is one of the only mandatory fields. And there's a checkbox, would you like to receive the Movement DAO newsletters?
And a person can change it. For instance, let's say somebody hops in, because I imagine what would happen a lot is somebody would just click on Humble Onlooker. They would hop in and they'd look around and try to get their bearings, and then they might say, I really want to do marketing or governance.
Yeah.
There's a way then to retake the form, or how does that work?
Yeah. I was thinking about that too. And I think we can make it clear that they can retake the form. And I was trying to think of like what the best way to make that clear would be. It would probably be in the submission like landing page, which we don't have right now because we're not integrating with the website. So the submission landing page would be basically the respondent email and or whatever channel it takes them to in Discord. So I was thinking that given their selection, it'll unlock roles, which will unlock a channel that it'll take them to this channel, or it'll take them back to the Start Here channel, but it'll give them another message. I wanted to talk to COOK to see what he thought was like the best approach for that. But the next step after the form is like a question. It's interesting trying to like build this out just in Discord, and like Discord's not necessarily like totally meant for all this kind of functionality, but we can make it work. It's just a matter of making it like look good and intuitive and approachable, because a lot of the way that we do stuff in Discord, it's like, for example, the Start Here channel, like I would love the Start Here channel to be like more clean, but it's like when you look at it, it's like move bot, and then it's like, welcome to Movement DAO, this is the beginning of your server. Like Discord put that message
Yeah.
there for like the server admin to see, but like people
Right.
joining that's just confusing, you know. And then like MoveBot, like what is MoveBot, and why is MoveBot telling me welcome to Movement DAO? You know, like it's fine, but it's just like I would love it if we could just like make this whole, you know, channel just really clean. Um, Another thing was like when you join the server, there's the bot. What is it? The turtle. I forgot what the name of that bot is. That sends you the welcome message. But like, it's awesome that there's a welcome message when you join the server. Except that it's Carlbot, but it tells you that it's from Carlbot. And so as like somebody who doesn't know about bots and like Discord, and like Carlbot sends them a message, and it's like,
True.
you know, it'd be
That's
great.
hard, right? Because that's a basic kind of Discord literacy thing, right? That's the hard part where a lot of people might never have used Discord, but we're also not like a how to use Discord tutorial. So that's that hump to get over, right? Or how much of that kind of instruction do we give over versus just hoping that people will, kind of get acquainted
Yeah.
with it. I mean, maybe that's what when I I remember with movement, maybe it was even marketing, but I didn't like check off all the things at the beginning. And then at a point I was chatting with somebody and they were saying, or maybe it was design, they were like, yeah, like, check out the design channel and you just have to like toggle on the design thing and you'll see it in the Discord. And then I knew what that meant. And I'm not like a whiz with Discord. Like it's just I'm used to it. But I remembered at the beginning, okay, I had to select certain little symbols for what I was interested in. And then I did realize that I was seeing that. Like I think when I first came in, I accidentally selected one I wasn't interested in, so I just went back and like unselected it. So I put that together pretty quick without the forum, right? Just from kind of poking around and talking to people. So that might also, wherever people land, like the humble onlooker might land, you know, in movement ideas or in the general chat, and maybe they would be able to get some of that information. I mean, if they're comfortable asking, or so that's also. I mean, there is a supportive community that will hopefully help clear up some of these things. If people, I mean, people ask questions, they'll get an answer. I guess that's always also the hard part. Some people might not want to ask questions or be shy, but the community's inclusive enough that if somebody says like, "Hey, I'm really interested in this," like somebody will tell them, "Okay, well, if you go back and do that form again, you can select that, and then you could, kind of join that community."
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it should just say in the form itself, like you can always come back and select more options later.
Yeah, or like I guess like a skip for now button, right? That's usually how that gets handled from a UI perspective. They're like, do you really want to hunker down and do it now, or skip it for now, and then people can swing back around and take the form again.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it would just be I guess you would just put the humble onlooker option on the, basically on all the other decisions. Like, instead of if somebody like clicks movement DAO and then they get to the availability and they're like, oh man, I don't, they might feel like they have to commit to something. Then they would have a little thing that says, skip for now, or I'll just start as a humble onlooker. And if they click that, it just routes them, back down to the end to the email.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll make sure there's an indecisive option everywhere, because sometimes you feel like none of the options really apply to me, or something like this, and
Right.
it's good to just have one like what's your availability, and there's an option that's just I don't know. Mm. But there's also the onboarding call, which is basically like if anybody selects that they want to be a part of the Movement DAO contributor guilds, then we want to set them up with an onboarding call before we actually unlock the guild channels. That was the idea anyway.
I think
And so
that's a great idea.
that'll be the chance to sort of like explain some of these nuanced sort of ideas about compensation and everything else.
Great idea. Would you say in that case, I mean, would that be like an interview process? Like when we're doing onboarding calls, there's a chance we would not then unlock the channel, or is just about getting people up to speed?
Well, at a minimum, it would be like a screen
Right.
for like problematic um, like characters. I don't know how necessary that is. Like I actually have been pretty impressed at how few problematic characters I've actually come across in like all the DAOs that I've been in
Mm.
everywhere. Um, but another
So it's
thing,
also usually
another
really
thing was
really
to
obvious.
like another thing was like if you don't let them have the guilds until they do the onboarding call, then they're more motivated to actually do the onboarding call, which might be an important way to answer some questions that they otherwise wouldn't have like
Right.
answered. Like if you just unlock the channels and just be like, go for it, they might kind of just float around and like not actually really plug in because they don't know like where's the bounty board and like how do you actually know what needs to get done and just like
Yeah,
little things like that um,
that's a
that
good point.
yeah. So I don't know whether that's like too much to ask, and it's actually gonna push people away from the contributor guilds where we would want to include them. Um, but like I went through Cabin DAO onboarding, and they're obviously they're like very active and like a highly developed DAO at this point. Um, so I think it applies to them more than it would to us at like more of an infancy stage where we just kind of want to gather more social capital as much as we can. And you get to a threshold where you pass a certain threshold of social capital where you actually want to start being a little more exclusive and filter out for like the highest value. But yeah, like they did an onboarding call and then that unlocked like the contributor guilds that you wanted to join. And for me, that just felt like really awesome because I had a chance to talk to somebody and then I actually knew like who to talk to, like who has answers. And then
Yeah,
that's somebody I
it's a
can reach
biggie.
out to in the server. Because otherwise, it's like, I don't know who all these people are. They're all just talking about things and it's not very clear. Um, like who you can go to for help. And so that's one thing the onboarding call does. And then the other thing is it makes you feel sort of more um, like everyone in there went through that same process. And so you feel a little bit more close to everybody, like everybody's real people in there. Like you're not just in some open server where there's just random people floating through. You're like, everyone here is focused enough to have also gone through that call. So yeah, I don't know. I'm open to like not making that a requirement early on, and then maybe turning that on like later as we start to gain more and more server joins.
Really hard, right? Because on one hand, early on, I mean, I totally agree. I think like it's important. Like I've never been a part of a DAO where I had an experience like that, and it definitely would have helped me tremendously to have that experience. Like usually I've felt like when I've joined communities, there's been maybe a 1 or 2 week period of just finding your bearings, and sometimes not even wanting to ask the really dumb questions if you don't know anyone in the community. And so that's really helpful. I think as I mean, if I mean even this whole question of the contributors and whatever, it's all these things will change if it gets really popular, right? Like if it gets really popular, we're probably not going to want that many contributors and that many guilds, or maybe we will or whatever. But early on, I think the onboarding call requirement. Um, I mean, I guess it's also on us. It's a manpower question of like how many how many of these calls will we have to do, and do we on our end have enough people with enough time that can do that? But I guess it really would be quite short, right? It's just about giving over the basics and
Well, and you
answering the
do
simple questions.
like what I had in mind was like once a week, on Wednesdays at noon, whatever time. Um, we just have everybody who joined that week like join in together.
Oh,
Um,
perfect. Like a batch.
yeah, just in batches, and that way you meet some other people who are joining the DAO as well at the same
That's
time.
awesome.
And sometimes like somebody has a question that actually the other person didn't think of, but it's still helpful. Um,
Right.
yeah, to listen in on everybody else's questions. Um,
Yeah, that's terrific.
and then it's a chance for anyone else who may have already joined the community, like they can always go back into that onboarding call if they have some questions that they want
Right.
answered. And like the town hall also kind of serves that same purpose. So I became a little bit like, I'm not sure how much we need this right now, um, since we have the town hall. Um, and especially since we didn't actually have the intake form, like directing people towards the onboarding call. But we'll get to a point where I think it becomes like a useful, regular um, event.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm on board for all that, and I think having a calendar with like a scheduled cadence of onboarding calls, and then having a calendar that someone can choose at the end of that form,
Yeah,
or maybe it's in the respondent email, but whatever it is, that like where they can in that process schedule something.
yeah, totally. I was thinking about that, how to schedule it. Like the most ideal way would be right in the form for them to select. Um, and we could always do like a Google Calendar thing that they could subscribe to, but if it's hosted in Discord, um, you would kind of want them to also go in and select that in Discord. So I think that's probably part of why Cabin DAO did theirs with Zoom, because they were able to like have people sign up and schedule themselves for the Zoom meeting through the email, which with Discord you can't really do. Um, but I think it's fine, and we'll just figure out the best way to get them to like actually sign up for the event in Discord by clicking the interest button. Maybe having a Google Calendar that they can subscribe to, or just like an easy button that's like add to my calendar in the form, and then whatever channel they land on inside of Discord will also tell them to go to the events, and then that way they'll familiarize themselves with the events button and how to select like interested in an event.
Yeah, I'm
Cool.
about it.
Um, yeah, the one thing that's missing so far is the when you select start a movement, what exactly we want to put there. And that one's just because like right now for this interim phase where we haven't launched Move platform yet, it's a bit different than what it's going to be long term. So it's kind of like optimizing labor for our long-term infrastructure needs versus our short-term infrastructure needs. And I guess for now, we'll just kind of explain that like we haven't launched Move platform, and for now we're like incubating movements in the Discord server. And so like I think we want to set up like a whole channel category for movement maker, or I see that COOK created it called Movement Genesis, where we're going to move the movement ideas channel as well as movements in action, and put those all inside of one category that will also have like an introduction and some explainers. And that'll be like a role that'll open that category if you select that you want to start a movement. I mean, that category will probably be open for everyone.
Yeah, I feel like that should be something that's open for everyone, since that's
Yeah.
it might not like people are still probably going to want to see what types of ideas are floating around, even if they're not wanting to
Yeah.
start a movement. And people might not know that they have to select that to do that.
Totally. And then I was thinking we could remove the role center channel because the form basically fulfills that purpose.
That
Yep.
makes sense.
And oh yeah, I was also going to talk to C Double about since we're actually linking them to the form from Discord, I think we can actually like populate their Discord handle automatically, so we don't even have to ask them for their Discord handle, which I was happy to just delete another question and make it that much cleaner. And yeah.
Myco email newsletter option, is that a newsletter we're writing for movement, or like, because right now the only one I know of is Peace DAOs. We haven't have we written like, we're not on a schedule of writing newsletters right now, right?
Well, so we're writing movement DAO newsletters. The last one just happened to be focused on Peace DAO.
So that last one was a movement DAO newsletter, or that
Yep.
wasn't unique to Peace DAO. Okay, got it. Understand. Yes.
Yep. And it's probably going to be merged for now, right? And especially because a lot of what we're doing is like highlighting, like our
Right.
strategy is focused on highlighting what our movements are doing.
Right.
So,
Peace DAO's
yeah,
kind of it right now.
so,
Yeah, I understand. Perfect.
yep.
Yeah, there's the newsletters have been being published in the newsletter channel in Discord, and that was the first one that got published on Substack.
Okay.
That might have where that impression came from, but
Yep.
yeah. And I had another question actually. So the skills selections, I wanted to be inclusive of lots of skills that would be useful for movements and future movements to have like yeah, so we have like kind of a library of potential contributors that like we can sort by skill set and stuff, but in the end, like the list is just like really long, and I don't know if it's a little too exhaustive. So I don't know if you can see that the list there. Every time I go through it, I'm like, I don't really want to remove that one, and I don't really want to remove that one, and it's like I want to boil it down, but I also don't really want to remove any of them.
Are you showing something right now? I don't see anything on your screen other than that other document.
No, let me change my screen. So what are you good at? Right now, it's just listed in alphabetical order.
Um,
Like the
you should
getting
probably,
shit done option.
yeah,
That's the best option. Just like, yeah, I'm here to do shit. That's what I'm getting.
I also feel
Some of
like
these
if
are interests too, though, right? Like civil rights is an interest.
yeah,
So
I feel like it's fine.
Okay.
yeah, looks okay.
Okay. Cool. All right. Sweet.
One question I had for you guys, and maybe you have more experience with this. I imagine, some people are just kind of looking for, kind of quick money, and their main thing is I want to hop in and like get to a bounty board and knock stuff out. And movement's kind of a good reason to do it. Like, it's you're still helping a good cause. So for that subset of people, like the forum right now doesn't address those people. And the question is, would those people kind of already generally be wily enough to know how to navigate that system, um, or is that something we should be putting on the forum for people like, hey, I just want to chip in a little bit and make kind of like gig work, right? Make a few bucks. Um, is the forum even something where we want to channel energy into that,
I
or
actually really good point. We should probably add option or have it somewhere in our in that thing to have a link to our D work.
yeah, right? And then just maybe like that would be for people that just like maybe just want to get their feet wet and get paid quickly, or just like are just there to do quick work. Because I think that's probably the most unique thing of people who aren't used to DAOs or Web3 or Discord communities or how any of this works is like nobody knows what a bounty board is, so they they might not know that there's all this work you can just float in and do, and that it's kind of like non-committal. It's really task-based. Um, and so again, that's a hump where we could say, well, are we going to drag everybody through explaining what a bounty board is, or how do we navigate that process? But I imagine probably a lot of people who have interest might find tasks on there and just want to jump right in. And so that's one thing we'll probably have to navigate.
Yeah, so Mike, I'm not sure where that might fit in, but maybe there's just an option that says like I just want to see the bounty board or something like that.
Show
Yeah,
me the
yeah,
bounties. Yeah. Okay.
Just show me the bounty.
Just show me the bounties.
exactly.
We got, yeah, no, I like this. Like, I'm kind of developing this dream aesthetic of like the impact bounty hunter, and like what move platform can be for that kind of a character who just like is like a is just kind of like a, you know like positive change, like vagabond that'll just travel anywhere where they can make a positive impact and make a living doing it. And
Yeah,
I think that's like going to be
that would
really
that would be
cool.
we should do. Oh, that would be a fun. I could write some hokey, like a hero, right? Lives by their own rules, like one of these, rebellious types. But like instead of like fucking shit up, they just make the world better. I
Oh
think
man,
there's so many funny directions you could go with that.
yeah, like Wild West themed. Like
Right.
actually, like I got
The white hat.
I collected Gitcoin's like comic books that they put out, and they're super cool. And maybe we can contact the producers of those and
Yeah, that
see
would be
if
awesome.
we can make one on theme for ourselves too. That'd be super cool.
Yeah, that would be.
It looks
But
like I'm just looking at our D work right now. It looks like we've got a bunch of tasks on there, but it looks like
oh,
maybe it's connected from our Notion.
I was playing with it and I didn't finish getting it like totally organized, but I like I was playing with importing some stuff from the onboarding workboard that I made, and I actually like reversed the progress on some things just so that I can play with what it feels like to make progress through D work. But I need to return to that
Mhm.
because I prioritize this kind of like Discord shift in the onboarding strategy to get that done first. So
Yeah, no worries.
but
I was actually gonna talk about which we probably get to now since we only have 5 minutes. About I was gonna focus on that video today and just wanting to also leverage that as a way to put one of the first things on D work here.
yeah, and
Um,
actually put a bounty on it.
Yeah, and actually put a bounty on it.
Yeah.
So I will do that, and maybe we can uh change some of these other boards that we're working on here, like as just like test board number
Sure.
one, just so
Okay.
that
Yeah.
people don't go and
Yeah. If at any point we go live and I haven't like cleaned those up, we can just delete them or something. So
yeah.
yeah. But I'll try to get back to that and get those actually, because some of those are still open bounties that that need to get done, and some of them are already done. But yeah, that'll be cool. I reached out to some folks through like DAO and Bankless to see if there are any video content producers out there. But did we find somebody? It looked like we had somebody in the server who may be interested, or should I reach out to those folks?
I think Sheesh said he might know someone, but I don't know if he ever found anyone. But let me regroup with him. I think I want to at least get like a strategy around what we're gonna do first, and like maybe a bit of a outline slash script. Because
What
I'd
kind of
like
video is it? What kind of video is it supposed to be?
so what we're thinking so far is that it would be more of like a sort of like an explainer
Hmm.
slash also kind of like a hype, not necessarily a hype in the traditional sense of hype, but like a marketing related video
Right.
that sort of says that sort of like has different testimonials of people, like for example Ryan and others in the community that in some way like explain what movement DAO is, the type of impacts that we're having, and like maybe a little bit of how it works. So I'm like I haven't like I said I haven't really done any too much thinking about it yet. But that was sort of the thoughts that were floated around by certain people in the community. And I think it's pretty solid idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you have any ideas, feel free to collaborate with us on it.
It sounds great. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see. I used to make videos um, through just like different site services when so I used to be like a community leader in one of my jobs. That we had to sometimes put out explainer videos, and there are some like services that you can go through that are kind of cheap, and they'll just put out like a nice animated video, and you can populate the video with writing, with videos, with images, whatever you like. Um, I mean that would be the easiest way. I mean you could really get that video done in like an hour and a half or less. I mean I would be happy to do it with that service. But then I guess if that's okay, then I would say that that's probably the way to go. I don't know how much the service costs, but usually those services are like subscription based. So they'll spit it out and render it for free with a watermark, or you subscribe. But to be quite honest, for something like movement, where we might want to highlight things with a little more pizzazz or like dynamically, um, those services are something we might end up deciding to subscribe to anyway, just because they, it cuts out. You don't need like anybody working through After Effects, for those. It's just like kind of drag and drop, and most of your effort goes into like, design and layout. So it's something that we could consider. I mean, I'm happy to do it, and then if somebody comes on board, you could easily pass it off. So that's that's probably the easiest option that pops out to me. I have to remember what those services were, but
Yeah, it may honestly be a better choice to go through like an agency or something rather than
Yeah.
trying to source it through Dwork.
Yeah. Right, and the agency is still like the agency is basically just a platform you use, and you still make your own video, but like you don't have to. I mean, it would probably be cheaper. I mean, right now, like
Oh, so we'd still have to get someone who knows how to create that through a platform. Is what you're saying?
yeah, but the platform is it's very very intuitive. I mean, it's almost like like if you ever made a website through Wix, it's
Yeah.
just it's brainlessly easy. Um, so yeah, I mean, somebody can take like, for instance, I'm happy to make it, and then if somebody wants to take that over, they can make it. It's you don't have to find somebody with like with After Effects skills to pass it on to. I'll see if I
Yeah.
can find the specific one I used um, was pretty mellow. I don't know about their pricing, but if we
I
go
feel
that
like
route, then it's just you're just sharing the login info and say this is where we make videos, and it's really good when you're not dealing with like live action or sound. Like once you're dealing with
yeah.
live action or sound, you're already kind of in the hole to do a lot of creative shit and technically correct. But if it's just about testimonials and like images or like a little image of the newsletter, and an explainer. I guess that's the other thing for us for the guilds. Like maybe like the logos, like this is the marketing logo, and explain about what it is. It's pretty easy.
Yeah,
I
I'm
could put it
wondering
in
if
the chat.
I guess the one of the first questions we need to answer is like, is it going to be fully animated or will there be live video testimonials?
You can put those in though. I talked to Anna about this at Movement DAO. She's like, yeah, if you have a real specific request, she could ask like Vlad or Alex to do a short video, and then whatever platform we use, even with this simple platform, then we can upload that little testimonial and someone can be talking. So that's doable.
All right. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Thanks for that.
I just put in the chat a link to one of the ones that I used called Biteable, and you can see like what they do. But as I said, very simple. It's something that like if we need it done quickly, and I don't know the price. What's their pricing like? It's maybe like $50 a month or something. For yeah, so it's not so bad considering we would if we had something like this, then what would be nice is that we put out a video along with a newsletter, right? Some people might not want to read the newsletter. Here's like a little video that's a minute and a half and just highlights some cool stuff that's been happening. Um, yeah, we'll check it out when you guys have time. It's pretty. There was a different service I used too that was pretty good, but they all more or less operate like Biteable, which I linked in the page.
Yeah, totally. I like that idea. I think we just need to have probably someone who would be willing to, do videos on a regular cadence.
Yeah, I mean, early on, I'm happy to do it. I think the nice thing about this forum is that we're gonna, get people hopping in that want to take things on, and that's. I mean, I think we're so early on in the process. We're all wearing a lot of hats right now, but the goal is just to, I think, incubate this stuff and then be able to hand it over to people who wanna take it on.
Yeah, totally.
There's so
I would
much.
take a
There's
look at
so
that.
much to do. It's there's
Yeah,
so much to do. I just keep getting deeper and deeper into the desire to just like hunker down as much as possible and just work on this because it's such a beautiful. It's going to be such a beautiful thing, and it's going to take so much work to make it happen, and it's so worth it.
Yeah, I find myself hopping around 10 different things a day, so it's hard to get one thing done fast.
Yeah, I know how that feels. Yeah, totally.
No, this is exciting. It's definitely exciting.
All right, guys. Well, I think we have some stuff to focus on. Appreciate the time.
Yep.
Yeah. Let me know, guys, if you want me to try to mock up a video through Biteable or one of those services. I can do that, like just a free watermarked one, or maybe I'll do that this morning. I'll make like a mock-up video with like lorem ipsum and stuff, and then I'll just put that in the marketing chat, a link to that, and then I guess look that over, and if that seems like something we might want to use for the explainer or for newsletters, then we'll do that.
Yeah, maybe if you have some thoughts around like what that or like examples of other videos maybe that
Yeah,
people have done that like on a regular cadence like that, that might be good to look at just to get a sense for how we could use those regularly.
yeah, for sure. All right, yeah, I'll put it in the chat when I get through with it. I'll put a couple links in the chat you guys can have a look at.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
Sure.
Alrighty, guys. Have a good day.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Take care.
Bye.